The Milwaukee Public School system has allocated nearly $500,000 to support the Black Lives Matter movement, citing local and national studies pertaining to the irregular statistics of young men of color. Though not partnering directly with the movement, the district has made it clear that they intend to pursue partnerships with outside organizations and people who share the movement's goals and concerns. So here's how this breaks down. So it's nearly $500,000. So they're going to spend $261,000 on benefits and salaries to hire 3 social studies teachers. Then they're going to spend $210,000 that they're going to use for district staff training. And they're saying that this is in support of Obama's My Brother's Keeper. This is part of the superintendent's proposed budget, which has not been approved yet. He's scheduled for a May 17th hearing to discuss this in further detail. And the other piece of this is that it's only going into one school.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
And it's going into the school that's called the Wisconsin Conservatory of Lifelong Learning, which is located in central Milwaukee. And you know, the whole idea is that they really want to implement a program to create a cultural studies curriculum. They want to improve school performance. They want to improve graduation. They want to, collaborate with local businesses, as I mentioned. They want to ensure culturally responsive teaching practices.
What's been the response to that? Because the fact that it's only going into one school, why is it going into that? Why is it only going into the one school? Is that because of they have a high proportion of African American students, or they have a disproportionately low? I mean, do they have a very low? Is it mostly Caucasian students there, and they want to raise awareness?
I think they want to raise awareness, yes. But the other piece with this is that, to your point about this only going into one school. So some conservatives are have their own opinion about the fact that they're using taxpayer dollars to cover this at just one school.
Right.
So, and the other piece with this is that on the budget, they're spending nearly as much money on this Black Lives Matter piece, as they're calling it, on the budget, as they are on college access centers, universal driver education, and advanced studies of world languages. So on all those things I just mentioned are individual line items, as is the Black Lives Matter. So they're all kind of comparable with regard to the spending that's allocated.
But it's just to be clear for everyone, it's Black Lives Matter. It's not actually there's no money is going in support of the Black Lives Matter movement or organization. No, there's no liaison officer being hired who worked for the Black Lives Matter movement. It's more about, it sounds to me as though it's more about black awareness. And it's like, we have this Black Awareness, African American Awareness Month. And it sounds like it's black awareness a movement, if it were, as it were, and they're choosing to use that phrase BLM, because it's simpler and more succinct. I mean, it sounds as though it's going on 5 salaries, basically.
Yeah.
So at around 90 grand a pop, people are going to get paid to help.
They're going to hire 3 teachers for take $261,000, as I said, to hire 3 social studies teachers.
Okay.
And I mean, here's the thing with stuff like this. These types
120 grand. They're going to be 120 grand each.
Yeah.
3 social studies for 260. So that's 100. Oh, sorry, less than that. Sorry, 80 grand each, or roughly. So okay. So but it's more about the teaching black empowerment, the social disparities that are embodied by the philosophy of the movement, or the philosophy part of the movement, rather than railing against the police for perceived injustices or for injustices and Michael Brown, hands up, don't shoot type, civil disobedience.
This
type
is
things,
really getting to the root of really empowering and uplifting these African American males, and really creating a support construct for them to be able to be successful, and to really help them by way of inspiring them and motivating them to be intelligent, and to give them tools that they can kind of utilize later in their life. So these types of things are really important, and they're really important for these types of groups, for minority groups like this, to really give them a mirror through which they could see themselves, and to give them the tools to be able to, not perpetuate an ongoing issue that's happening in society. Right.
But it is interesting that they've chosen to use Black Lives Matter, which is somewhat incendiary, because it is political, and it's being heavily politicized. And so it's within the school system, obviously in the public school system, you're going to use taxpayers' money. That is incendiary, that is inflammatory and provocative. And one wonders why they chose that specific mnemonic or specific phrasing or labeling of it, because it isn't political in terms of what they're seeking to do. And it's also interesting that they've only chosen to target one school.
Right. Well, will this see an impact? I'd be really interested to see the data and to see the positive, hopefully, implications that'll transpire there. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, though, on that.